Two agents, same scripts, same skill, same product, but one closes at 2 to 3% and the other one closes at about 12 to 15%. That's about 5 times the sales off the same exact effort. The difference isn't talent. It's not the pitch, it's the lead that they started with. So I'm going to show you the exact math behind why some insurance leads close at 5 times the rate of others and why the leads you think are cheap are actually the most expensive ones. So by the end, you'll be able to look at these numbers and see precisely where the money's leaking. So stick around, because the part that changes everything is a number on your dashboard you're probably reading wrong. So quick context, so you know what, I'm not guessing. I built an insurance agency at 7 figures, and for years I bought leads like everyone else. EverQuote, QuoteWizard, SmartFinancial, and all the other ones. Then I switched to generating my own leads, and my close rate didn't just go up a little bit, it multiplied. Now my team builds these systems for agents all around the country, so I get to see these numbers firsthand, and the pattern is always the same. So let me show you the 3 things that stack up in order for these leads to close at 5 times the rate. And I will also do the math that nobody does. So here's the mistake that almost every insurance agency makes. Here's the mistake that every insurance agency makes. They treat close rates like it's one thing, a sales skill number. It isn't. It's a stack, 3 layers, and each one multiplies over another. So a shared vendor lead closes around 2-3%. That's the honest industry number from internet leads. I talk to over 1,000 agents every single year, and the close rate is almost always the same, 2 to 3%. If you're buying share leads, you're already feeling it. But an exclusive, targeted, fast follow lead can close up to 15% or more. That's 5 times the closing rate. And you don't get there with just one trick. You get there by stacking 3 layers built upon each other. Let's talk about layer 1. Layer 1 is exclusivity. And that alone is worth probably double or triple, because when you're buying a shared lead, sharing the same lead to maybe 4, 5, maybe even 7 other agents. So think about that for a little bit. Think about that on the person that you're calling, on the lead. If you're getting called 5, 6, 7 times, you think you're going to answer the next call? Those guys are already frustrated. They're annoyed. And they're not going to pick up the call. They're usually going to go with the first person that called them or the cheapest quote. An exclusive lead is the opposite. You're the only one calling them. The person isn't comparing 8 quotes. They're not on guard. They raised their hand and they wanted what you had to offer. So here's the number. Shared leads close around 2 to 3%, where exclusive stacked leads close anywhere from 10 to 15%. And that's a lot of the agents that we're working with. Those are real numbers that we have. And these guys didn't get better at sales. They just got a better lead. So that's layer 1, right? You've already, just by being exclusive, you've already doubled or tripled your closing rate just by that alone. But now we're going to stack, right? So layer 2 is the one thing nobody talks about. And it's the quiet killer of close rate. It's carrier competitiveness. So most agents advertise everywhere. Every zip code, every risk, anyone who's willing to fill out a form. Because remember, that's their business model, to fill out as many forms as possible so they can sell that lead to as many agents as possible. And so what happens is they will burn, an agent will burn through half the quotes because they're not even competitive with some of these leads that are coming in, right? So the difference is when you run your own ads, you get to do something a vendor cannot do. You only fish where you win. So let me make it real. Say your carrier is the best on newer homes with no claims in these specific counties. You point your ads for exactly that, right? New roof, clean history, and you only target those zip codes or those areas. Now, every single lead that hits your phone is a deal that you can actually win. So you're not increasing your sales skills. You're deleting those leads that you wouldn't have sold anyway. You can't buy that. You can't call EverQuote and say, hey, I want to run these specific ads, right? And I want to run them in these specific counties. They can't do that. So they sell you whoever filled out the form, and you take it right? You take it because that's the leads that you're buying. So you do the best you can with those leads. When you quote deals you can win, your quote to bind jumps. So that's layer 2 of stacking on top of having exclusive leads. Now we're climbing past where share leads can never go. So layer 3, that's intent. Who the person actually is when they hit the phone. So a vendor lead comes from someone that clicked on save on insurance or some random survey site, right? With zero intent or very little intent. They don't remember filling out the form. They were looking for any quote, the cheapest one. And worst of all, maybe they clicked on an ad for like a free gift card, right? And now you're getting someone that filled out for a free gift card and you're trying to sell them insurance. That's going to be very difficult. So picture this. Your lead saw a video that's targeting a specific person that you want to talk to, right? They saw the video, they filled out the form, and the second that lead comes in, it fires a text and an email, and a chatbot starts a conversation with them. Whether it's day or night, it gathers the details. What they're insuring, claims history, date of birth, all the stuff that you need for a quote. By the time you pick up the phone, you're not calling a stranger. You're calling someone who already knows who you are and you have information from them. You walk into a warm conversation instead of a cold one. So I want to be straight with you because people online oversell this. The AI does not close the deal. It does a lot of work for you, which we implemented, but it does not make the sale. It reaches out instantly, keeps the lead warm, gathers information, but you still have to close. You still have to make the call and close that deal. So that's the third layer. Exclusive, aimed at the exact person that you're targeting and warmed up before you even call, right? You stack all of those things together and now you have a closing rate of 15% or more because you have control all the way through. Now the part I promised, the numbers on your dashboard that you're reading wrong. Agents shop leads by cost per lead. That's the wrong number. The only number that matters is cost per acquisition. So let me run it side by side. Those are round numbers to make the point clean, right? Shared leads, $15 a lead, closing at about 2 to 3%. That means you need about 40 leads to make one sale. 40 leads at $15 is about $600 to land a client, right? Versus you're closing, a $13 lead at about 12 to 13%. Even let's just go with that number instead of 15%. That's about 8 leads to close one sale, right? 8 leads at $13 is around $105 to land the same exact client, right? So $600 versus $100, right? That's almost 6 times cheaper for you to land the client. And look at that price per lead. You actually paid less for an exclusive lead, right? So that's the whole thing in one frame. That is why I say the cheapest leads in the business are usually the most expensive. Shared leads look cheap on the sticker, right? But once you run them through your close rate, they're actually the priciest clients you ever buy. One agent I work with, 5x his return on his ad spend, even at a 9% close. The math just works when the lead is built right. And here's the thing, I'm not going to sell you like a fantasy. In order to get that 5x return, right, over these shared leads, you have to have speed and you have to have follow-up. You got to call the leads in the first 5 minutes, not an hour later. If that lead comes overnight, then the chatbot will warm them up, but you have to call them the next day. So connect inside 1 minute and the odds of you closing that lead jump 400 to 1,000%. Wait 5 minutes and you lose about 80% of your shot. So our system gives you that chance, right, in order to warm up that lead and helps you close at that 12, 15, even higher. So let's just tie this all together. A shared lead closes about 2 to 3% because you're one of the 5, 6, 7 agents that are calling, right? So you stack the 3 layers and that's how you get to 15% closing rate plus. Exclusivity, so you're the only one calling them. You're targeting where the carrier actually wins, so every quote can bind the exact person that you're targeting with instant follow-ups, so you're calling someone warm. And that's not a better closer. That's a better setup, and the close rate follows. So if you're tired of paying a vendor to compete with 7, 8 other agents and closing at 2 to 3%, let us set up the whole system for you. The ads, the funnels, the AI follow-up, the actual ads that are targeting the people that you are wanting to sell and can sell. If you're interested in us setting this up, I'm going to put a link below. You book a call, I'll run the numbers with you. And even if this doesn't work out, you'll at least know exactly where you're failing at and where you can improve. So I'll see you on the next one.